That's actually what the mission is to sign up the entire world to be on that protocol. Just like SMTP, think about email.
Hey, podcast listener, you're about to discover insider tips, tricks, and secrets to making more sales and converting more prospects into customers with email marketing. For more information about the Email Marketing Podcast or the Autoresponder Guide, go to dropdeadcopy.com/podcast.
It's John McIntyre here, the Autoresponder Guy here. I'm with Tammy Camp. Now, Tammy, you met on Facebook, of all places, in Ryan Levesque's group for internet marketers. But as you'll find out in a minute, Tammy's definitely not a marketer. She doesn't do marketing at all. What she actually does instead is she works with 500 startups. She's on the growth and distribution team, and they've got a conference coming up that's not on marketing, it's on distribution. It's called the Weapons of Mass Distribution. So she's very much doesn't want to call any of this marketing, but it'll be a little bit similar to what we usually talk about, but from a different angle. So I thought it'd be interesting to get Tammy's perspective, because it's from way, way outside the internet marketing zone in the world of San Francisco startups. She's at AWS, the AWS headquarters, I think, right now. So this is like smack bang in the center of startup land. And I thought you'd have an interesting perspective. So let's find out what she has to say. Tammy, how you going?
Hi, John. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Thanks for coming on the show. So before we get into what you actually do and some of the stuff that the startups do for email and distribution, can you give the listener a bit of a background on who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I actually started in 2001 as an affiliate marketer. So back in the day, I think I generated over $1 billion worth of affiliated revenues.
Did you say
and then after
billion?
that, yeah, $1 billion. It was like I was a super affiliate for many, many years. So that's how I got my start in growth and in distribution. And I moved to San Francisco because I wanted to be in Silicon Valley. And since then, I've been at Walmart Labs. I built their product API that they're using today. And then also, I was the first head of growth at Stellar, which is a payments protocol. And we grew from 0 to 4 million users in 4 months. And now I am at 500 startups, and I'm a distribution hacker in residence. And basically what that means is it's basically like an entrepreneur in residence. I'm building my own things, and at the same time, I'm helping all of their batch companies, because 500 startups is a accelerator and a venture firm. And actually, they're the most active venture firm in the world. We've invested in over 1,000 companies, and we have about $150 million under management. But they have the fund, and then they also have an accelerator program. And there's about 30 companies in each accelerator program, and we have it about once a quarter. So I'm actually the distribution hacker in residence there to help those companies with their growth and distribution.
Wow. Okay. So it sounds like because we spoke was a couple of weeks ago about doing some work together. But because I thought you were just a startup into startups, and you'd always sort of been that way. But you said you started in the affiliate world. Mm-hmm. That's a very interesting start.
Yeah, got to start somewhere. Or I didn't even know anything about, when I first started, I didn't know what marketing or anything was. I was just, somebody showed me how to, buy ads one time, and then I just started making money, and then started making more money and, doubling down. So I didn't actually realize that I didn't set out to be like an entrepreneur. I just ended up in that situation.
Right. And then what happened? Because a lot of people who might listen to this are going to be in a position where they've got a job and they're not an entrepreneur and they're not working for an exciting company like 500 startups. And to them, what they want to do is they want to quit their job and somehow make a couple of $1,000 a month so they can travel. And that's only some people. But so what would you say to someone because it sounds like there seems to be this transition, right, where people have a job they don't like, then maybe they go off and they go and do their own thing and they make a little bit of money, and as that scales up, they start to think, well, there's, life isn't just about making money and living on the beach in Thailand or wherever it happens to be, that there's actually more to that. So it's what's driven you to go from being an affiliate, and I imagine having a lot of freedom where you can live and travel and do all sorts of stuff, to go and live in San Francisco and get more what sounds like a job, but a very entrepreneurial one, and
Yeah,
give a
I
good
mean,
routine.
I think I have just as much freedom as I did when I was, working a lifestyle. When I was, ran a lifestyle business, I'm very much still traveling the world. I just got back from Hong Kong, Taiwan, the Philippines, but instead, like, I have my trip paid for. I get to go talk to exciting new companies and kind of plan my trip, plan the trip. And next month, I'm going to Dubai and Jordan and Oman. So I'm still getting to travel like everywhere where I've always wanted to go, because everybody in an organization kind of travels all the time, and you just volunteer for the trips that you want to go to. So, and I have freedom. So as long as you just get your work done, and it's always exciting, and you can just do it from anywhere in the world. So I think that, the concept of you being stuck in a cubicle at a startup is not correct. You're just, you're working from coffee shops, you're working from AWS Loft, working from home, working from, your hotel room in the city. I mean, I feel like it's the same.
Yeah. Okay. And it's a bit like...
And we get unlimited paid vacations too. So, like...
Wow. So where does the limit go with that? Like, obviously you can't take 11 months off a year.
No, I mean, it's like, obviously, like, you wouldn't, obviously, like, you actually have to be, like, qualified to do this job and execute. Like, if you, don't, then, you probably wouldn't have the opportunity to do something like this. So, you can go, you have that freedom, but you have to be responsible as well. And I don't know about you. Like, if I had, like, over a week vacation and not doing anything, like, I just get so antsy. Yeah. I have to have, like, something to, stimulate my brain.
Yeah, I feel you on that. So let's talk about this distribution versus marketing thing, because there's a lot of people out online who go and do what we call marketing, and they do paid ads and build a sales funnel and, that sort of thing. And you just told me that you built, was it 4 million users in 4 months?
Right.
That's a lot of users.
Yeah, so I think there's, like, different approaches. So how we kind of look at things at 500, we look at things in 5 channels called the pirate, the pirates creed. It's acquisition, activation, retention, referral, and revenue. So we look at all of these things, like all these, you have to have all these things dialed in to, have a successful product. Right. And so acquisition is just like one part of it. So obviously acquisition can be like a lot of paid channels. We do the same, like Google AdWords, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, remarketing. But then, when you start thinking about the other 4, I feel like, it starts getting a little more technical. So, no one, like, has anybody in the internet marketing world talked about churn?
People who have like if we're talking software products or any sort of membership platform, churn's a big topic that comes up.
I actually haven't heard anyone talk. Is there like a churn master? Is there like a mastermind group for churn? There must be, right?
Well, I'm sure, like, if you go talk to the thing that's going around a lot, if you look at, like, Digital Marketer, I think is a good example of this right now. Perry Marshall's another guy that teaches this. And the whole basics of a sales funnel, where, like, the whole idea is to lower your acquisition cost as small as possible and increase your customer lifetime value as high as possible. And so it's just the business really just fiddling with those 2 numbers, getting your CAC down, getting your lifetime value up. Right, so then it's just a matter of, all right, well, some things you convert, anytime you optimize your conversion, you're dropping down your CAC. Anytime you add more products or more expensive products or decrease the churn, all those things, that increases your lifetime value. So in the context of that, when someone has a membership community or a software app, so there'll be experts out there like this, like the software like the SaaS guy or the membership site guy. Mm-hmm. Those guys probably talk about churn, but I've never heard of a guy being the churn guy.
Oh, maybe there needs to be like a churn.
I mean, it's a big issue, it sounds like, especially for startups.
No, I think I actually saw it happen because the very forum that we met in, Ryan's Mastermind, I think he had like a $1 promotion, and it went all the way up to, I was watching it, the group went up to like 820 members, like, during that promotion. And just this week I saw it go down to like 711. Huh. So if you think about it, that's like 10%. And that's actually very high. That's a very high churn rate where we are. So it's like, you want to anything like more than 2% is like you have, you have an issue that you need to address.
2% per month?
Yeah, 2% per month is the standard.
So I think it's interesting. I've been thinking about this a lot, and like the reason why I say like a tech startup or like whether it's a monthly fee, they're so valuable is because like I was signed up to Aweber, which is an email software, one of the starter email software platforms. And I signed up maybe 4 years ago when I was just getting started, and I used them until I think it was about 6-7 months ago. And if you calculate it, it's like $30 to $50 a month over 4 years. It ends up being it's like $1,500 or $2,000 depending on how you calculate it. And so it's pretty incredible. But like you can't, and the reason why like I was in with them is because once I load up my, so like all the different sales funnels that I have and the different pieces, it's really annoying to go and try and move from that platform. Like it's a I can't just cancel it and go and have something set up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, then they've done their job. They've like kept you in the software product.
Right. I mean, it sounds like part of the problem here is that like with the membership community, for example, most people I know, people will often sign up and stay for 3 or 4 months. That would be on average. You've got some people who will stay signed up for a year or longer, but the average person will stay signed up for, say, 3 or 4 months to something like Ryan's thing, or I've got a group. There's a lot of people who have these different groups. And the reason why is like the only stickiness is you've got a couple like training programs and a forum, and there's nothing to really stop anyone from canceling. If they cancel, you don't lose your data. You lose access, but you don't lose, a lot, the last 3 years worth of data that you've built, customer data in, say, a CRM like Salesforce or one of those platforms. So,
well, you never lose that data with any of those platforms. It's just, that's a migration problem.
That's true. But you don't really need to migrate. Like from if you're using like an educational, like that Facebook group, for example, you don't really need to migrate from that to another group. It's sort of like that. You don't need to have that thing. You can cancel it, and business is just going to go on, or like your life will go on. There's nothing to migrate.
Oh, sure. Yes, exactly. Sure.
So then one thing I think like I'm interested in, I think a lot of people will be interested in, is this idea of like to go to these 40,000 people, 4 million people in 4 months. How does that happen? Like what?
Oh, so that's purely on referral. So we'll take PayPal. Actually, so it was a payments protocol. It enabled people to send money instantly for free in any currency, and so applications would go on top of it. Protocol meaning like SMTP. SMTP is the protocol that email runs off of, right? It's free, no one owns it, and we're basically building the same thing, or it's still in existence. We built the same thing, but for financial services, for remittances and like money transfers and stuff. So basically, what we built education program like into the mandate of what we were doing, and we just like looked at PayPal because. Keith, it was actually funded by Stripe, which is the payment processing company. And then, so Patrick Collison and Keith Raboy, which is in the PayPal Mafia, were on the board, and they pointed us into the direction of looking at PayPal. Now, when PayPal started, it was back in the day where everybody were very scared to move money on the internet, and they were having a hard time getting users. And what they did was give away $10 to people. They funded everybody's account $10, and that's basically what we did. We funded everyone's wallet with $10 worth of Stellar, which is the currency that's native to that protocol.
What's $10 worth of Stellar worth?
$10.
$10 like US.
Yeah, $10.
That's
$10.
That's $40 million. That's a lot of money.
So yeah, well, we gave it away. I think you can still get it now. The giveaway is still going.
What's the site? Stellar.
Yeah, stellar.org. O-R-G. So yeah, giving away free money, it works.
Okay, and then it's a case of, so how is this different to PayPal?
So PayPal is an application a service that sits on top of the existing payment system, ACH and SWIFT and FedWire, right? We're building a SWIFT 2.0, right? So all of those ACH, SWIFT, and FedWire have been built over the last 30 years. So a lot of that actually predates the internet. If you think about mobile phones, I mean, the penetration of 5 years has just been crazy. So having all of our financial services built off of technology that predates the internet, obviously it needs upgrades. So this was our solution for that.
Okay. And then so when that happens, right? Because I think a lot of people would be like it's just, people usually think when they think about quitting their job or building their business, they're thinking, well, I'm going to go and get, make 1,000 sales, make a couple $100,000. And here, like I like the way you are and the way people in, like, say, Silicon Valley think about scale. Like, you're not thinking, oh, let's get a couple hundred users. It's let's go get 4 million users.
No, we were thinking, let's go sign up the world. No, that's actually what the mission is to sign up the entire world to be on that protocol. Just like SMTP. Think about email.
Yeah.
SMTP is the protocol that powers email, right? We want it to be as ubiquitous as email.
Okay.
Right? Why? You're like looking at me.
No, I'm not. It's funny. It's like I'm out of questions. You're saying, all right, we're going to build this thing where you get everyone in the world on it. And it's like, all right, well, cool. It's like, I don't even know what to say to that. I think it's awesome. I think it's because you've been this reminds me of not Silicon Valley, Singularity University.
Yeah.
Which you've been to. Is this one of those projects that stems from Singularity University?
It's an area that I grew to love because I went to Singularity University.
Interesting.
Yes.
So it sounds like this idea when people think about, let's go think big and let's go get every single person on the planet to use our product. So it sounds like, people can talk like marketing strategies and, how to optimize your Facebook ad and your landing page and all that stuff. But one thing that, I find funny when people first get into this, or when people are just learning marketing, they often think that marketing is the most important thing. But like with this,
it's a third of it, right? And actually engineers, so it's the reverse problem here in Silicon Valley. They're like these amazing engineers and developers, and they're like, oh, this is the most amazing product, right? And then they don't have marketing for it, and it fails, right? Because they're like, oh, it's so awesome that I don't have to market it. They'll just come, right?
Well, we don't do marketing. We only do growth hacking and distribution. Or are you saying that the coders, they're like, oh, I'm not a marketer, I don't even do marketing, but this product is so good that it'll distribute itself?
I think we think of it, and like, again, going back to art, we tend to think in that mindset and at scale, right? If we can't get, several million users, then it's, not, the market's like not big enough, right?
Right. What would be your advice to someone who doesn't think like this? Like if someone's not thinking like this, if they're currently thinking, oh, well, I just want to quit my job, or I just want to build this business and have a bit more time with my family.
And that's respectable, right? I started out that way. So I actually know, I've been in that situation. Yeah. So absolutely. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just...
What would be your advice to someone, though, who because a lot of people who want to think bigger. It's that, maybe there's like that follow your passion. I feel like everyone's looking for meaning in life right now. And one way... Really?
Or is it just you, John?
I'm totally projecting, yeah.
I think you are projecting. You are. You're totally projecting. You're traveling around. You're like, what is the meaning of life?
What's the meaning of life?
You're applying to Singularity. You're like, okay, I want to think bigger. So this question is for you.
It's for me. That's what this podcast is for.
Yeah, okay.
It's just a reason to chat to all the cool people that are out there.
Yeah, great angle.
So what then? Well, you still haven't answered the question. What's the advice then?
Yeah, well, I was like, what was the question before I started giving you a hard time? What's the process into thinking bigger?
Well, the question was like, what's your advice to someone who wants to think bigger?
Yeah, well, doesn't want to move here, because a whole different vibe here is like the streets
that'd be open. I mean, what's your... Yeah, how would you, if you were to give it like a lecture on...
Well, what I did, I'll tell you what I did.
Okay.
It's like very attracted to it, right? So I moved here from a perfectly, great lifestyle in Florida, right? I moved here and I just immersed myself in everything. So I went to, like Singularity University. I did a graduate studies program. It was a 3-month course that was on NASA Ames in Mountain View. So I stayed there, and we just did lecture after lecture after lecture about innovation in, education, global health, space, poverty, energy, education, in these really 7 security. So it was 7 challenge areas. Yeah. And they just brought in everyone. It was like one TED Talk after another of the people that were, at the top of their fields in those categories. And it was just amazing. So it's just I feel like it's just taking the time to learn it, right? It is all about time, right? doing your 1,000 hours, your 10,000 hours.
Right. And part of it too is like knowing like doing the 10,000 hours on the right stuff, because you go do 10,000 hours on optimizing your Facebook landing page, but this is talking about like learning something entirely different.
Yeah.
You know what? I was reading. I was on Quora the other day, reading. It was a post from Elon Musk's, I think, ex-wife, Justine Musk. Yeah. And someone asked a question about becoming a billionaire, and she mentioned something where it was a cool. I think it was a good idea, and she basically said that you want to get really, really good at one thing, which might be business, for example. Not like Facebook ads. That's too specific. But just say good at business, and then get really good. So do your 10,000 hours in business, and then do your 10,000 hours with engineering, and then you combine those two things together, and then you have idea sex. I like that phrase.
Oh, that's great.
And so it sounds like that's sort of what happens, right? If you were to go to, like, if someone was to go to Singularity University and they didn't have any skills yet, it might not go anywhere. Whereas if someone's good at, say, marketing, or good at programming, or good at something like that, and then they mix that with some of the big grand challenges that are out there right now, like the fact that all our financial, all the systems that our finances run on were built 30 years ago, then we can actually start to combine stuff and come up with new solutions.
Yeah. There is some truth to that, because if you think about like all the people that are at the billionaires that have just been minted here, they're all like both technical and very good at business. Like look at Travis Kalanick, the CEO of Uber. He's both technical and just badass in business. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. He started out as a programmer, but his ability to learn, it is all about your ability to learn. So he was able to learn business and, learn it at a very high level and have those right people around him. And Drew Houston, the CEO and founder of Dropbox, same thing. He was an engineer, and then he was just, was a very fast learner and could actually learn, how to play the game. You have to have like complementary skill sets. Yeah.
Right.
Be multifaceted, right?
Right.
You can't just be you can't be just good at one thing. You have to be good at multiple things. And that's how it is with like products too, right? Like back to like you have to be good at the product has to be good. All of the marketing channels or growth channels need to be like good. Yeah. And then it needs to solve a problem, right? Those three things like typically, make for a good company here.
Right. One thing I wondered about before, I asked a few different people this, is there's a lot of like the typical story is Mark Zuckerberg who sits down and he's cranking out programs at 14 years old, and then you've got guys like who probably get more of they get their start on the internet. So I'd be more like this, right? I mean I'm not really a coder. I can build a site and do some stuff with CSS, but I'm not building any apps, for example. And so I get a lot of friends like this, right? We all have to some degree, like we can build sites and stuff, but our real skill is say marketing and copywriting and coming up with angles and that like the salesy side of it. And so what I've wondered is like how much room is there? It sounds like there's a lot. Is it possible? Because it sounds like the usual thing is someone comes in and they're a coder and then they learn to do business, not the other way around.
No, that's not true either. There's been business people that have made it without learning code at all as well. Let me think. So the Wildfire crew, they exited at Google for like $500 million. They didn't know how to code. Is that what you're asking? Like all
it's interesting.
No, there are some. Yeah, there's loads of them here. Absolutely. I'm like trying to think off the top of my head. I'm like, what are the billion-dollar companies that? I have to take a look at it actually.
There's actually a conference called that I saw the other day called HustleCon, and
yeah, exactly.
It's like that's exactly what this is for, right? Guys who can't code but want to build a big business. So startup tactics for non-techies is the tagline.
Yeah, so actually, it's true. The next billion-dollar startups, retail next. You probably never heard of it. It's like SaaS. That's the same thing, right? Yeah, a lot of these Blue Apron, marketplace for subscription meal service. Already at a $500 million valuation. Yeah, they're there.
Yeah.
Thumbtack is a service listings marketplace. They just raised over $1 billion. I don't think, a lot of those guys aren't technical. They were just very good at process.
Interesting. And so, what happens if someone just shows up and they did what you did, right? They're just going to go, all right, screw it. I'm going to go to Silicon Valley. I'm going to go to San Francisco, grab an apartment, and figure something out. What would be the process for it happening?
The process for it happening.
Like, you know what I mean, right? Like, what would if someone And like I said, I mean, this is I think you're pretty right. Like I'm asking because I'm personally very curious about this. If I was to like basically pack up and stop doing what I'm doing right now,
that's exactly what you do. You pack it up, you get an apartment, you like move here, and then you start going to events and you start socializing and you start meeting people and you start telling people what you're passionate about. Yeah. And then they think of you when they match. I mean, it's a small community. There's only like 700,000 people that live in San Francisco. It's so small.
That's a really small. Only 700,000. Oh, you mean 700,000 in the tech community?
In San Francisco. No, the population of San Francisco is 700,000 people.
That's tiny. Okay. And then to the tech community.
And then like the at large. God, I think San Francisco Bay Area is bigger, so it's like 4 million. That includes San Jose. Well, actually, I don't know. But it's small. It's smaller than you think. Like, everybody knows everyone here. You know, it's a very small crew.
So if you go to San Francisco and you start going to, like, the different meetups, because it's a small community, you're bumping into the same people everywhere. And then over time, they're going to remember you and opportunities start popping up.
And there's everybody needs, like, people that, like, it's so difficult to find people to work here.
Really?
You know? Absolutely.
I would have thought like the tech bubble was, it was like 5 years ago and all the billionaires have been made.
No, all the billionaires have not been made. But it's really tough to find good people here. Because everybody's like, if you're good, you're snagged up very quickly.
What about good programmers versus good marketers? Or like copywriters, for example?
Oh, both, yeah. Copywriters, like, there's so many people that need copywriters right now. So many people that are looking for growth people right now. Yeah.
It would be fun.
So, yeah.
I mean, that's why I've thought about it, right? Because it'd be such a different life to go and, like, the whole, like working at home and traveling around. Like, next month I'm going to be off. I'm going to Colombia. And that'd be cool. It'd be great to be in Colombia and do salsa dancing and a bunch of different stuff like that. But there's something like you do it on your own and you kind of hang out with people, but you're not really involved in this grand mission. You're not really, like, on a team where you're fighting for something. And so there's this sometimes, and I think a lot of people get this sense of, well, it's fun and everything, but sometimes you kind of like, you miss that camaraderie of, say, like a job's not really like the right thing, but like being, working for something that's bigger than just you, or bigger than just traveling around.
Right, sure.
So,
yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
So we'll finish up in a second, we're coming right on time. What's the big, where are you trying to get to? Like, what's your big reason why?
Like, there's no reason. Well, it's all about the journey, not the destination, man.
Like, are you trying to be a billionaire? Or are you just there to hang out with be where it's happening and be part of something?
No, you know what it is? I actually just want to solve problems. I want to solve problems in effective ways. And, the company that I'm working on now, like, no one's solving a problem that I have. It's a personal problem. And I think a lot of people have this problem. So I just want to solve it, see where it goes, We're problem solvers here. Yeah.
Very cool. Cool. All right, then. Well, let's wrap it up here. Before we go, though, if someone wants to learn more about 500 startups or maybe get in touch with you.
WMD. That's right. Our conference is coming up next week for 500 startups called Weapons of Mass Distribution. And if you go to my Twitter, @TammyCamp, you'll find a code to get 75% off. No, $75 off the ticket. And I think you just use Tammy VIP on checkout, and it should take it off right off your ticket.
Nice. And what are they going to learn?
Oh, they learn from the best growth hackers.
You're right. Is that?
Yeah. You know what? There's a lot more people that are people better than me. Like Sean Ellis, he's the guy that actually coined the term growth hacking. He was the first person who did marketing for Dropbox. So he actually came up with that referral program, give 20, get 20, in free storage. And that's how Dropbox became, so popular. So that was by Sean Ellis. He'll be there. Actually, James Courier, he was the growth person at PayPal. So way back in the day. So he'll be there talking. So a lot of big names that have grown these billion-dollar companies are speaking at the conference.
Yeah, very cool. I'll have links to that in the show notes at themcmethod.com. We see some people get there and learn how to weapons of mass distribution, not marketing. Distribution. Tammy, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening. If you want to discover more insider tips, tricks, and secrets about driving sales with email marketing, sign up for daily email tips from the autoresponder guy. Go to dropdeadcopy.com/podcast. Sign up, confirm your email address, and I'll send you daily emails on how to improve your email marketing and make more sales via email. You'll find out why open rates don't matter and the 7-letter word that underlies all effective marketing and much more.